Market vitals, the levels you need to triage the market. Recording to G's home base in progress. Good morning, Matt.
Kim
Afternoon
Young.
where you are in Booger Glob, Yugoslavia, where we have a giant fan base over there in Booger Glob. Anyway.
Ben Takistan.
I thought it was Jen Pakistan. Apparently we're not happy with India after I wish I could have heard.
All I know is Sean Penn wants to go fight against the Russians, so I say let him.
Let me ask you a question. Which of the Three Stooges is he going to be?
I mean,
let me just tell you something, Matt.
61-year-old little man with a big ego.
Look at this, Matt. I asked you on the way in, what was this? And you said a whistle. A whistle. And what you don't know is this is it's a weapon now. You could probably be charged with armed robbery if you brought this into the scene.
To a soccer game in
if you go, well, no, let me just paint the picture. You walk into the bank, right? Because this was the breaking news. Referee whistles may be the cause of sudden increase in heart problems among sports players. Experts say, hold on, did I almost kill you?
So flopping is back on the table for British soccer.
Armed robbery. Let me just paint the picture. You walk into a bank, right? And you just start wailing on this thing. And, you probably get a good number of people to drop from a sudden cardiac arrest. And then you make off with all the loot. It seems reasonable to me.
I don't know if you have a bag big enough to handle the loot for the inflation needed just to get your bread.
Well, the bag is the important part here.
I'm just saying, like the slippage in bank robbery now is pretty big.
Let me just tell you about how the bag works. On the trading floor, I didn't overheard, but the folklore story was in out trades before the trading session started. There was an argument about an out trade, and the guy actually said, "I can't be out to trade. I'm his bag man." True story from the trading floor. What do you mean he doesn't know the trade? I'm his bag man. Anyway, between killer whistles, we got a theme here today about death and breaking news. All right, let me just break news this one more time. If your kid has been vaccinated, you're going to probably want to go to a whistle-less sporting this fall. That's what I'm going to be pushing for.
I was thinking about going to referee some lacrosse, games just because the local Parks and Rec needs refs and the exercise is good and I like the game and my kids aren't playing locally anymore. Why not?
Well, now
But now what do I have to do? Hey, kid!
Well, you might kill somebody, and you wouldn't want that on your contract.
Well, that's what I mean. So now all the woke Parks and Rec divisions are. What do they?
Let me ask you: think there's a support group already for referees that have killed players? Like I blew the whistle.
No, but there's definitely a support group for the kids who got PTSD from the whistle.
I mean, I don't know. It's a straight. Is it? Here's another question. Is this part of the?
You cannot hurt anybody's feelings.
The weapons being requested.
So now, if you get
whistles,
when you get on a plane, can you bring a whistle?
I'm pretty sure whistles are going to be outlawed here before the end of the quarter.
You have to take off your shoes and lay out your whistles.
All right, Matt. Speaking of death and mushrooms, the big wheel. I asked you on the way in if you had one, and the sadness that came across your face was mesmerizing, to say the least.
Well, here's why. By the time, I don't know, I remember big wheels around 5 years old. I was too big for them, Bob.
You mean there needed to be an extension on
that
thing with a few more holes to slide that thing back?
Yes, I needed like a real big trike. That thing wasn't. I mean, I think the at 5 years old, the weight limit on that thing was 40, and I was easily 75 at 5 years old. I think I passed 100 at 10 and never looked back.
Davio, too big for a big wheel. Oh my God. Yeah, I almost killed myself for sure several times, but even more closely to death was when I was in college. And in Kalamazoo, we lived on Hilbert Street. And the name was true because it was a steep ass hill. I mean, steep enough, Matt, that you could not get up it in the winter. No chance were you getting up Hilbert.
Speaking of winter, it's snowing right now.
Winter has not left the building. No chance.
Oh.
And our little neighbor kid, we were taunting him to see how fast he would come down the sidewalk on Hilbert till we almost killed him. Anyway, that's a story for another time. Matt, sticking with big wheels, although we had on fire prices today in CPI, this is one little crack in one segment, all right, and that is the used car market. Fell 3.4% in March on the heels of 2.1% drop in February. Year over year fell 25% on used cars.
Who's counting, right?
I mean, that's substantial. What do you say? Return to sender on the price of used cars, like that piece of shit Ford Taurus. How much do you want for it? Anyway, let's talk.
I talked to somebody yesterday, and she was like, I was thinking about getting my Toyota 4Runner repainted, and then I took it into the dealer, and they offered me, and she was laughing like this. She was like uncomfortably laughing. They offered me, $10,000 more than I thought the car was worth, and really, I thought it was worth even less, and so basically, she ended up getting a brand new 4Runner, and it cost her $10,000, which is what the paint job would have cost.
Yeah. All right, what do we got for used car? I mean, we could talk about Ford and GM because their new cars are basically used cars. I say that just.
Well, let's do that. We'll talk about the one we talked about at the end of the year, which is Carvana. Again, this one got all the attention. We said right side's coming, 377 down to 98, and it's currently trading 101, dragging on the bottom here, not making a new bottom, but dragging on the bottom hard. And that's not looking good. I can't remember. I can't remember. What is Car Gurus? Find that for me.
What's it called?
Car Gurus.
Car Gurus.
Yeah, find it for me. I can't. But in the meantime, I'll bring up Ford because Ford was my short of the end of the year. Also, I said sell the crap out of it. It's going lower. It's going to 12. That was when it was at 25. And here we go. It's back down to 15. The low was in the 14. So pretty much did what I said it would do, and it took less than 3 months. So great trade there. Again, there was no reason to be chasing Ford here at the end of the year because you knew the consumer and inflation was already here. And now that everybody's realized it, we're back down here. GM, GM is again same thing. 67 down to 40, got down to 38. So
it's amazing me too, Matt, because when I look at these, unlike the indexes, fully right-sided and have given away a giant portion of their market.
Again, when it comes to like the NASDAQ, you have, and Toyota was a great one too. Toyota went from 213 all the way back into balance here at the 150s, 155. Again,
and then a great retest of that high value.
And retest, come back, test that value area, and will go lower. It will drip lower, lower, lower. So there you go. There's the, if you want to look at the junk, Riven, this thing had a rally recently and it's sold off. But I mean, just look at that thing, 180 down to $39. I mean, just brutal. NKLA, we used to talk about all the time. And then Tesla's the only one that's still alive and kicking, but NKLA had a little bounce on their, supposedly going to start building the truck. Well, I guess that wasn't true because
I wish I could make as much money on supposed to.
Yeah. 3.5 billion market cap still at this level, but don't forget where this thing was a year ago. I mean, this thing was insane. It went all the way to, what was that spike high on that during the whole meme days, almost $100. So, 90% off sale. I don't know what to tell you.
Doug, Lee way ahead of me. CARG is
Car Gurus.
Car Gurus.
So yeah, Car Gurus. Let's get a little longer time frame here, but this thing had a spike. I was looking at this actually the other day. I don't know what this spike was about. I saw the spike and I never got to see what the news was. I wish I would have saw it. I did not see it, but it's off 20% already from that 50, went down to the 35, bounced again, now rolling over again. So Yeah, I mean, I think I think you get the picture here that it's not a pretty picture for, and you know, the other thing is you can't get new cars still. There's chips that are delaying production that's going to go on for the next 6 months. So, you know, the whole thing about Taiwan, forget about the saber rattling. Taiwan is where, I don't know, 90% of semiconductors are manufactured. Period. Taiwan is semiconductor capital of the world. So anything that has electronics, from phones to cars to washing machines, dryers, everything has chips in it today. And everything is being delayed because of what's going on in China, not only Shanghai, but Taiwan, obviously. So it's real, and you should pay attention to it because it's going to affect, and that's supply driven constraint that affects inflation in this situation also. It's not the Putin in price inflation. Stop with that bullshit, Saki. You are so full of crap. Ugh.
Yeah, but it's good PR. It's good.
Yeah,
PR.
but it's just,
nobody has to take responsibility for anything.
Let me say this. I saw an article today. It was in Thrill List, right, which is just a list of fun things to do and places to go all over the world, right? And one of the articles was wine prices are exploding, and then at the end of the article, before you had the clickbait, it says because of Putin. I'm like, give me a break.
Yeah, like organized shutdown of the world.
No, I'm just like, okay, so wine moms can be mad about Ukraine now because their wine is costing more money and it's Putin's fault. That's immediately what I thought. That's what that article was written for. And I was like, garbage. Gosh, if you just think about why that headline was even written, it was to get the wine moms thinking that they're smart talking about Ukraine when they're throwing down their $2 chuck. Give me a break.
All right, Matt, we got a rally in the stock market, and this was a repeat of last month. I remember vividly talking about it. Mm-hmm. Inflation apparently good as the market screamed higher, supposedly because it wasn't worse than the prognosticators got it right, and everybody was.
Listen, I said it yesterday, Bob. We were so oversold. We had been going down for so much in the bonds. We were due for a bounce. So sure enough, we got
not only that, the bond. I mean, yesterday's show was spectacular to the point of control on a 20-year chart. I mean, almost to the nuts. And you cannot ignore, so there'll be a giant battle here for maybe a month or two in the bonds.
Yeah. And again, if you think about the cycles, right? The 2 week, it's kind of been going 2 weeks one way, 2 weeks the other way. And it's just whoosh, whoosh. So we had the 2 week 18% rally. We just had about a 2 week 10% sell off when it comes to the NASDAQ. And now you can see the SPOOs. Yeah, they bounced off of 4380. Which, I don't know if that level really means much to me.
Through the figure to 80, through the figure to 20. An old sage in the hog market used to tell me that on big moves, through the figure on a rally to 20 and through the figure on a break to 80 is a good level to be taking profit. Not necessarily getting long or short. It's simple. I mean, we talk about round number bingo all the time. Yeah. That's an iteration of round number bingo.
Well, and we talked about it on the bounce, right? We had the bounce on the NASDAQ, today got you right up here, and then we're holding right at the 61.8. So
what was that high to? That bounce to?
Today, 280. Let's call it 280. 284 was the high. I'm looking at it right here. So, as the day goes, we're red. Like, we opened right here, this red bar right here. So we opened essentially at 14,200. So we're down 100 for the day. So if we were to go to CNBC right now, they'd say we're up 100 for the day. The way traders look at that, we're down 100 for the day. No, this is an interesting topic because
no, you're right. You're right.
Again, if you're a day trader, you did not buy the low because it happened overnight. It happened in Europe. It happened at 13.9 while you were sleeping. So you missed the buy, which was right around 10:30 Pacific time, which is 1 o'clock Eastern. You were sleeping. That was the mechanical buy. I'm not saying that was the buy. I was looking for 13,830 or so, and that was the 61.8 of this whole move down. And we got to like 90. What did we get to? 902, 903. So again, levels weren't hit. And this is why you have to play ranges. Like if you bought 900, you made some good money today. Like if you just bought a little bit there and had the bulk of it down there at 800 or something like that, at least you had a foot in the game. And Bob, that's a 400-point move, which is again 3%. That's a huge move if you're trading. But if you wake up and just trade starting at the open, well, CPI is at 5:30. That's an hour before the open. That put in the high for the day so far, right there. And that 25 minutes after CPI, we ran all the way up to 286, 284. That's been the high of the day. And we tested it after the open. Here's the open. We went down a little bit, tested it, and then rolled right over again. So yeah, the shorts are in control for the day trade right now. The SPOOs didn't quite get up into the value area for the week, which is up here 44.75. Yeah, again, it just feels dead cat, and it doesn't feel like we're done with the downside at all. But it's not a huge, it's a big rally, but it's not huge. And there's no and the lack of continuation. The lack of continuation makes me go, gone. It's slow. It's slow out there. Like the volatility is really slowed down. Really slowed down.
Let me show it. Because it couldn't be clearer here too that there's still an argument. And this is the daily, and this is fully bearish here. Went and sniffed the momentum level, and it's rounded, and we have collapsing bands, which means potential to the downside. But if you fractal out just a little bit and go to the 3-day, look how dead flat these bands are. And that's a completely different score. And I think that's why the vol is getting collapsed, because on this midterm time frame, there's no panic in this chart whatsoever.
Right.
And obviously these are big moves on a 3-day. So the lower momentum level 42.66, the upper momentum level 45.08, but they're dead flat. There's no story here on the 3-day time frame that says run for the hills. And that's important. It's saying that on the daily, and the daily will lead to the 3-day. The 3-day will lead to the monthly, just like you do in volume profiles. I do the same type of thing in standard deviation analysis, and it gives me at least a frame of reference to work from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, Matt, what else do we got other than killer whistles? There's a lot of noise, and
well, again, the other big news I saw today, Bob, it has been the big news is the subway killer, right? Okay, is that guy CIA? He's wearing an MTA jacket, and who knows? But this was really the big news I saw today. So I don't know if you saw it, but Al Pacino has a Shrek phone case, and apparently it's changed.
What happened to Mike Myers, by the way? Where did Mike Myers go? Did he just quit society, move to Northern Ontario, and say,
post-economic,
I'm done?
Post-economic.
Lee is looking for silver, and I saw Jimmy Urio tweet that he was adding to his gold position today, bought more gold. So we do it every Tuesday, silver or gold.
Silver and gold.
Cornelius. Let's look at silver and maybe just a second at gold, Matt, because something that you have an opinion on, but maybe the opinion has evolved, maybe not. Silver or gold? Oh, how about the robocalling? It's just been out of control.
Yeah, they're back. They're back at the office.
Strong.
They're back at the office pressing that dial button.
It's crazy.
I mean, no, it is. Like, since we've reopened, that shit is back stronger than ever. Like, it's crazy, to your point. It is crazy. All right, silver. Silver is trading 25.78. The Reddit boys are all excited because, that they're always excited. Okay. Again, I will just say this. I don't, the end of the world trade is not something that I believe in. I'm not a prepper. I have enough food to last probably, 3 to
more than the 12 meals.
Yeah, maybe 12 meals. But, if it's that bad, I'm going to, and again, I could probably go a month without eating and be fine. So,
well, yeah, I mean, Davio, since those big wheel days,
right.
It's been more like 36 meals for him to be any world of hurt.
Well,
maybe
I would
if
not,
you started now, you could actually get in a big wheel.
I would not.
Maybe they make an adult big wheel. I'm sure they do.
Well,
Sure
they have,
make
I saw electric monster tricycle the other day that somebody had parked up one of the coffee shops with baskets and stuff. And I was like, what Karen is driving this thing? But
I
then
know, Matt, that chart right there is very, very, very compelling to me because
what do you
whatever
like?
that high value is, 26 even round number, not only does it need to take that out, it can't be a throwover. It needs to take that out and spend several brackets and build time and volume above that level in order for me to be compelled on a profile basis to say, we're going to distribute higher again.
Yeah, and this is a 1-year chart. So again, it's hard. And I only look at gold and silver from longer perspectives because you can't. They're impossible to day trade. Like unless you know who's pushing the button to buy or sell the machine. And they just ramp hard. So you better be able to be in these positions for a while, one way or the other. And obviously that's what the gold bugs do. They're just always long and they think it's always going up, yet in 12 years it's gone nowhere. So
I mean, the other thing too, look at that. That is a fat, thick profile.
Yeah.
It's like everybody that wants an opinion has the opinion in the market.
Very crowded. Very crowded.
And that doesn't mean that, and again, so was that 22 and a half, the width of that profile?
Yeah. 22
I mean, if it
26.
did spend time and build volume above 26, you could make the case that it will distribute that same amount to the upside once it breaks and builds time and volume.
The same case with gold going back a year. Yeah, it's above value. Value's back here at 1,800, but I don't know. I got better things to do with my money.
Right on. All right. I appreciate the thought process.
Well, I mean, I just look at it and go like, all right, so we've been here, no new prices, same thing for how long, again, what do you want to look at, 10 years?
You don't understand. I have a 10-year chart that's telling me exactly what's going to happen. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They all like the cup and handle, the huge cup and handle. We had a new high. We're above that 1933. Yeah. Yep. But even on a monthly chart, you're just, you're outside of value. It's bullish. I just don't want to buy it. I don't want to buy it with your money or Jimmy Urio's money. So,
well, I think the better question is, would you?
I really don't want. I don't want to. Again, I don't have a position in it right now, but it has been crawling up here, and as you would expect, inflation. Okay, 1880 up to 1980. That's $100. That's a nice move. You just had 5%. Congratulations. Now what? Oh, I forgot you got all these levels up here. Again, you got a lot of people that, like you said, there's a big argument going on here. Let them figure it out. Let them figure out when it breaks. We'll know. When it gets below 1850, then I'll pile in short. When it breaks above 2100 and stays up there for a week.
All right, man. Let me bring up a chart because I think it's we talked about it a lot. And again, an alternative is to just own the fucking dollar.
Right.
Here's the 3-day in the dollar. And again, how different is that look than the 3-day in the S&Ps, where those bands are dead flat sideways, right? Yep. This market is telling you that people are still flocking to the dollar.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter whether they're right or wrong. Right now, flocking to the dollar has been a pretty good bet.
And those, and again, the same people that are buying gold are betting against the dollar. And guess how wrong they've been? I mean, they've been so wrong. I mean, it's a broken record. Like I remember saying this. I'm like, oh yeah, watch gold. It's going to go down, and dollar will go, and that's going to continue. I mean, I still think that we could see 120 on the dollar. Well, and by then, all the gold bugs will be long the dollar, and then you can be long long gold when it's 1,200 or 1,000.
Now we're thinking like traders. We're thinking.
Unfortunately, you got to fade whatever the masses are doing. The masses are asses. They always are. So if it's in the press and they're talking about the trade of the century and they're talking about the dollar, run. The press is the last to know.
That and the cab driver in New York that's selling his cab medallion
he
because
probably
he's
knows,
flipping condos.
he knows more now because he's got a computer in his pocket. So I don't know about that anymore.
All right, Matt. That's what we got. MarketVitals.io is the community. Market Vitals is the stream. Everything we talk about is guaranteed, probably. So keep that in mind. Risk is your own. Anything else, Matt? Anything else? How many? Here's what I was thinking. I wish Davey Portnoy would engage with us, because as traders, we're different than his. We have a better concept of prop bets, which actually could drive money, right? And our talk yesterday, here's my prop bet. At what date are the Tigers 10 games out of first? By what game? By what date?
I don't know that. Chicago's the leading team, right?
Yes.
Wait,
the lead jumps right in, making the over/under May 1st. That is aggressive.
Yeah, I'd say maybe by right before the 4th of July.
Wow, that's
because I don't think they're as bad as you think. Or I think they won again yesterday. They're 2-2. I mean, if they can win 20 more games, then it's off the table. So if they can get to 80 and 80, they're in the pennant race in that division.
This is true.
In that division. So actually, I'm changing my bet. I don't think Detroit's gonna. I think they're gonna win 80 games. I've raised my over/under from 62 to 81 games.
And what do the sports books have them at?
I have no idea. I haven't looked.
Lee, get on that. What's the over/under on Detroit Tiger wins? See, these are the type of prop bets that you can actually start telling a story about.
Yeah.
Right? That's what Penn Gaming needs.
Right.
They need stories, because who gives a shit, really? I mean, at the end of the day, nobody really gives a shit. Anyway.
Again, this is how you have to think when you go into the book too. Like you have to have a bet in your mind. So for me, let's see. I'm going to bring up the lines right here because you got me thinking about it. Because here's the way I think about sports bets. Like I go in, I don't look at lines. I think about what I think the line should be. I think like the bookmaker does. So that's how I like to think, right? And so since I did that,
share the screen when you get it.
I'm trying to get to the screen. So I'm at the screen, and look at that. Tigers 78.5. So I was pretty good.
That is damn good. This guy knows baseball. He may not know a lot of things. And by the way, this was DraftKings. Sorry, Penn Gaming again. Be a sponsor, and everything we bring up talking sports would be Penn Gaming. Unfortunately.
So the different books have, Detroit 78.5, 8.5, 79.5 you could get. If I said 81.5, I would take the over on that, right? So, by the way,
the White Sox are only 91. There's your a little bit more than 10 games difference.
Right.
Obviously, this ebbs and flows.
But that would be the end of the year at that point.
I get it. It ebbs and flows. You can go on a terrible streak and be 12, 15 games out quick.
And, the number one team again, the Dodgers. They got 98.5. Nobody's even close, 92.5. And they got the payroll, so they should. That makes a lot of sense. So it's an interesting bet. But actually, I like that one. And Tigers even have an outlier chance of making a run, if they could finally get their pitching going, which I don't know. I just don't know much about who's on their staff and what they have going. But why not? Make Detroit great again.
Make Tiger baseball fun again. I think it's going to have to entail.
They got your Cubs longtime shortstop. He hit a dinger yesterday to win that game against the Red Sox.
Spit me a name, Javi.
Yeah, he's Detroit Tigers shortstop now.
Man, I like Javi, and
I like the idea of him winning a pennant with Detroit. I got to say, the first game he had the walk-off. He had the walk-off ground rule double that won the game against the White Sox, and it was cool. Like they interviewed him. He's like, "I told the guys I just needed to hit one." They're like, "Dude, it's the first game."
Excited.
That's what he said, though. I was
Excited.
like, this is
Let me
great.
just tell you something. I've been to Detroit a couple of times, and I have noticed for sure a little bit different energy going on in Detroit than for sure back in the 80s.
Yeah.
When I spent some time there.
There's
I'm rooting for Detroit. I for sure am rooting for Detroit.
You know, there's something to be said for washing out the bad and bringing in the new. You know,
Bada bingo.
It's hard to get worse than it was. That's for sure.
That's for sure. All right, Matt, thank you so much. Dave Portnoy, please reach out and we can talk about Market Vitals being the prop bet that you all want. I mean, he posts stupid. I'm sorry, Davey. Your prop bets have nothing that's intriguing. There's no thought behind them. Like This is a thought process. This is a conversation that's ongoing, and that's how good props get, evolve. Maybe you could take this one and run with it, Dave. You take the prop bet, put it up there, make an over-under on the date that the Detroit Tigers are 10 games out of first place. And let's see how much action we can get on that little puppy. Give me an over-under. Right now, our spread is May 1 to July 1. So how about you just go June 1st, right? That'd middle our two experts.
I do want to talk about one more chart while we're here, just because we've mentioned it a little bit, and I just want to bring it up. Natural gas continue, like if Jen Psaki wants to talk about something where Putin is affecting price and the reasons why, here's one that she can. And natural gas is, because of her own administration's policies, this is the reason why this is happening. We have plenty of natural gas. Europe does not. Europe relies upon exclusively the Russian natural gas. So in this case, Jen Psaki is right. However, the reasons for this price raise have to do with policy. The General Zoo policy, not anything else. It has nothing to do with Putin. It has to do with policy. So let's make that very distinct.
Dude, almost $7. I mean, go longer term. What's the all-time?
I know it's doubled for the year. It was $3.55 in January. So I was just talking about.
Believe me, I know. I just filled up the propane tanks, and
so December 30th, we were at $3.55. A double in 3 months, 3.5 months.
And is this a all-time high for Natty?
No, it's not. It is not. And we have been up to 15, 16.
Holy
so
shit balls.
Yep. Yeah, baby. This is what
just
I talk
for
about.
Your viewing pleasure, potential in the market, and when we look at this stuff,
well, you see the projections on the pullback here as we made it, and this is what's interesting. Like the next level here is like 850. That's the next fib level, and that matches really nicely with like these intermediate levels that we traded at here. And yeah, why wouldn't we with this is a 20-year chart. Why wouldn't we 22, 25-year chart? It's been a long time. We were deflationary in natural gas, had it easy. Our heating bills were light, right?
Not only heating, I mean, a lot of industry applies on propane, natural gas as part of that input cost.
Yes.
That they do not need to see go through the roof.
Correct. So I just thought I'd throw that out there because this thing.
All right, man. We have earnings the rest of the week. We got PPI. We got a lot more tradable intel.
Yeah, we got short week, but we have more PPI, CPI numbers coming out tomorrow and Thursday. Compressed week, and again, holiday week. Easter Bunny's coming to town, or something like that.
All right, man. All right. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Lee.
Thanks, Lee.
All right. Listen, please retweet the broadcast. Retweet. I implore you to retweet the broadcast.
You're supposed to whisper when you say it.
Hold on. Let me get out my personal safety device.
Instead of the whisper, you need the whistle.
People will be able to whistle and just kill that attacker now. The whistle used to be to alert the police or standards buyers that there's a altercation in progress. Now the whistle just kills the guy if he's been jabbed. That's the first question you have to ask. Excuse me, sir, before you mug me, carjack me, I need to know if you've been jabbed, because if you have, you're fucked, because I'm going to blow this whistle and kill you. Anyway, Matt, that's all I got. Thank you so much.